this reaction.
Yeah,
Sure, we are live now. So we are live now. So hey, folks, this is me, Vishwas Nair. I'm the host of this DevOps Champion. A lot of times, you know, things have been really changed in the chat shows in my personal life, right? I come across many engineers who are in microservices and a lot of things. So I think now it's a time for me to introduce you, Rohit, because he's now an developer advocate in the Solo.io, and also, to be very frank with you, he's one of those young minds who work in this technology, which is giving out a huge impact. Like advocacy is something that is huge, and here we have Rohit, who is just giving you that right introduction to work with the service meshes. Thank you so much, Rohit, for being on my show. Means a lot.
thank you for that small and cute introduction about me. So, thing it is like I am like developer advocate at Solo.io. So, if no one knows like what is a developer advocate, many people think like it is a lawyer or something, developer's lawyer or something. But it is like something. This is a role which is like getting trendy from like if you were like 2 years back, there were no people you saw like they were talking about the developer advocacy and developer relations. But now it is like everyone is talking about the same like developer relations, developer advocacy, because it is like one of the cool jobs, as you call the data scientist as a sexiest job. So similar to that, developer relations is some kind of a cool job which pays you higher, and where this is just one kind of a benefit. But thing it is like you will get to work with the various teams in your company. You will not just work with one engineering team or marketing team. Here it is like you have to get in contact with the engineering, the marketing, your uh, another is your product team, and so you have to be like more active towards everything. Another thing it is like developer advocacy is some kind of a post where you need to be hyperactive and energetic always, because as you see we doing stream at 10:30 in the morning, so there is no time for us like anytime we have to be active. So yeah, it is one kind of role where you are like more on the technical education for your company. So I see the developer and developer advocacy as a role where you have to make the technical education for your company. So not for your company only. When I am not working for my company, then it's like on the Saturday, Sunday or off days, I am doing it for the DevOps. So I am creating the advocacy on the DevOps. So
Amazing.
wherever you are on my connected on my profiles, I am sharing the resources on the DevOps
Doing the
tools,
work.
cloud native tools, open source tools. Yeah, so it is nice. Like I'm enjoying this thing. That's why I'm doing it. So thing it is that was my job description. Job description. Afterwards, we can go forward to like where I'm
What
working
is service
currently.
mesh?
Yeah, yeah. So currently I'm working as like developer at Solo.io. So Solo.io is a company which is like I'm blessed with a company which is like leaders in the Istio. So if you know like there is a cloud native incubating project recently get into the cloud native foundation, which is Istio. So if you have used the Kubernetes, there is some kind of a service meshes and all stuff. So Istio is something which will help you to do service meshes easily, provide you security and many things. So we are leaders in the same. Recently, ambient mesh is launched, which is the biggest, I would say, like biggest thing launched this year, which has like sidecarless kind of a thing. So what it is, we will talk about the same, but we will
Hmm.
also talk about like how to do the Istio installation and all stuff. So yeah, Solo provides various services like Glue Mesh, Glue Gateways. Glue Gateway is something which will help you to get the API gateway simplified. We have lots of customers like Airtel, not so another is means we are partner with Google, Amazon, and various companies, but I don't want to take any everybody's name. So yeah, that is all the process, and we are also working on the GraphQL, so it is nice. Another thing it is like I'm founder of various communities. Like Vishwas is working in the community. I am also the community person. So most of the development people are on means like
On
from the community
communities.
background. Yeah, from the community background in some case. So I have like keep up, which is called as the trainings and internships previously. Another is DevOps community. Currently, I created the developer relations community where I'm not that much active, but I share the means like resources towards the developer relations. Like there is some books, there is some blogs, which can you read, which can you not. So I'm share that. Another thing it is like yeah, you can follow me on various profiles.
Various
Vishwas will
platforms,
share
yes.
it to you. Yeah, Vishwas will share it to you, so it will be like Twitter, LinkedIn, portfolio. So yeah, that's all my introduction. We can move forward with the session. I sorry
Sure.
for taking like 5 minutes of your time, audience,
No
for like
problem, no problem.
yeah, yeah.
It was actually great. I think there's somebody who is doing a lot of impact in the community, and it was a requirement of the hour. And probably addressing the fact that, it's the impact that is needed. I think that's the best part about it. So, yes, let's start with it. What is Service Mesh? And why is Service Mesh so famous today? And why Service Mesh needs to be an requirement in your architectural practices today?
Okay, okay. So what happens as we are talking about the service meshes? So let me go with a thing like I have some slides previously created,
Sure,
which is
sure.
for ambient demo, but it will also help us to know like what is service mesh and kind of a thing. So let me see that 1 minute. I guess I shared the screen upfront. Sorry for that. So when you're talking about the service meshes, in simple words, it is something like there is a web of something, and you have to connect that web to see like how the services
I think you're
works.
sharing your
And
screen, right?
no, no, I have not shared it.
Sure, 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 sure.
Yeah, I'm sharing now. So as you see, this is demo I created previously. It is about the ambient mesh, but what needed here it is like service meshes. So when there are before service mesh is what happened, there was two services. If not two services, there are multiple services. But let's take example as a you have deployed any application, right? So in application, there are various pods or which is like let's take example of this thing. Like there is some cloud application, and which has like pods, various pods. One will be for database, one will be for application, and one will be for uh, what is another thing, APIs or getting APIs kind of a thing. So there are three services or two services. So when you are doing the connection between the same, it is really hard to do the connections and provide the security to it. Like you have to go to the security tower and connect this and create the various network services for if you know any cloud provider, you would have get the idea like there is some nets and there are some cloud network where you do the connection and stuff to provide the security. But thing it is like when you have to add the any resources to it, when you have to add the any add-on to you, it was really hard. So in terms of technical terms, we called it as a business logic. So whenever you wanted to add some business logic to your service, means like your services, it was really tough. So operational code and business logic was clubbed into one thing. So it was really hard. So that's why service mesh was launched, and it was like it can create the parallel between the both, like operational code and service business logic. So you can easily do the things you want, and you can add the resources, add-ons whenever you want. So that was the platform goals with the service mesh, which are like so thing it is like whatever you do in the service meshes, it happens mostly on the platform level, no, not at the application level. But when you want to route your traffic, you want to do traffic filtering, like you have some traffic goes on through your services, traffic in the sense of like any request you send, so that you have to filter, you have to transform that packet or something, then it is done at the application level. So that is one of the goals at the Istio. Another thing it is like observability. So it is like we can connect. it to the logging, and we can try capture the traffic anytime. So it is like when you are deploying the application, you check the logs, right? Whatever it is working inside that, you check like is there any thing we can do to get the observability of this thing. So monitor these things. So we should have some integrations, right? Like Prometheus, Grafana, Kiali. These are the open source tools. So we want to integrate, right? So we can do that. Resiliency is one of the key term. Resiliency is one of the key term. Recently, everyone's speaking in the chaos engineering. So what is the resiliency? It is like whenever you do some routing or something. So it is you have to do the traffic to means like do the retract for this. So we can enable it in the resiliency, and same for the failover and high availability. These are the simple terms you already know. So I'm not taking your time to explain these things. But yeah, resiliency I wanted to focus on. Another is the failover routing and high availability, which is you can easily enable in the resiliency. This is one of the goal of the HTO. Another thing it is the zero trust security. So what is the zero trust security? When you are doing the connection between the two services, you should have some mutual TLS connection, right? So mutual TLS connection is just like it should be secured, a secured connection, and it should in Istio what happens? It goes to the control panel, and then to the one proxy to another proxy, and where you can do easily it's like secure connection, and you can provide the certificate to it, you can route the certificate, you can do various things. So whenever you want policies for any layer from the OSI model, like you want the L7 policy, you sometimes call the L4 policy. So you can attach it, you can deattach it whenever you want. So think it is like in Istio, when application is deployed, it with the sidecar version, it restarts when application is deployed. So it will restart again and again. So in simple version, so this is the sidecar proxy. Sidecar proxy is something like service A is there and envoy proxy is attached. So envoy proxy is your sidecar proxy. So this entire service A and this envoy proxy is something is called as a data plane. So data plane is something where everything will go on, and the control plane from outside will handle everything. So he will the person who will get the like metrics and all for the monitoring, and it will provide the certificates kind of a thing for this your data planes. Another thing it is like whenever you want the to deploy any proxy, you want to filter your application level, you want to attach some policies, everything will done by the Istio control plane, which is outside of these connections, which will provide the policies and kind of a sum. So it is the one leader of the group who keeps a track of the service meshes. So I guess I told everything about the service meshes. So another thing it is like Istio sidecar model. So this is the current sidecar model of the Istio, where there is application we can attach the resources whenever you want there, and there is envoy proxy at the sidecar, which is sidecar, and entire node has this data plane, which is like application inside that resources you can attach, and there is an envoy proxy. So overhead cost, operational complexity, performance, there was some issues there, but we will talk about the same. Another thing it is like whenever you do the application deployment, as you see, like there is a product page, there is details, ratings, reviews. These are just a sample book info application deployment. So where you see like there is 2/2. So one is your sidecar envoy proxy and one is your pod deployed in it. So I guess I answered that question. So we can move to the next question.
Sure, what are the different kinds of deployment that is happening in the world today? Because DevOps practices is evolving, but once I start thinking about what are the biggest changes that I can think about in the market, it's like everybody is strategizing something on sharding, everybody is strategizing something on deployments, and there are various sources to it as well. Like you need not have to rely on one tool. There is hundreds of tools of it. So I wanted to know what are the different kind of deployments, why there are so many service meshes that are coming up in the market, like why is there a requirement of so many service meshes in an organization also today?
To keep it in simple words, so like you have asked, so why service meshes, right? service mesh is a industry which is like everyone wants to come inside and check like how we can come into the same. So it is something like it is solving the use case which is like whenever there is a microservices, we can provide the security, observability, reliability. So everything we can do on the applications. So you can encrypt it, you can unencrypt it. This is next level. So that's why when it is comes to the Kubernetes world, everyone wants to come into the these projects, cloud native projects and open source projects. That's why I guess service meshes is something where you are solving the huge cases, these huge use cases. That's why everyone wants to come into this industry and everyone is launching the new service meshes. But I would recommend go with the Istio. Miss, it is just my choice. It is on your side. But think it is like Istio is already done numerous job and it has like so many contributors to it. So that's why I would suggest like go with the Istio, but there are a lot of service meshes and every company is trying to get into the same. So there are big competitors in the service meshes industry and everyone wants to come into the same. I guess some big companies like I am talking about the top tech companies also trying to create their own service meshes. So if you are someone who is a beginner, you want to understand the something on the service meshes, go on the open source repos of the Istio, go on there, check how this works and how you can contribute. So if you contribute today, you have the awesome future. I would recommend from now only. Another thing it is like talking about the deployments. So deployments is something means like when you are doing any application deployment, when you are doing any means like not only application deployment, there are various type of deployments and there are various issues. So this is a thing which is different to different process. So some kind of a deployments can be done easily with the service mesh. Some can be done by using the Kubernetes only, not required for any integration afterwards. But some are something where you need some file system connection to the your Kubernetes. Then only you can do. So there are different ways. Some is like some can be done by only containerization, so it is just everyone wants to get into the same because there are various use cases. So whatever is the thing which solves the many use cases, depending on that new technologies launches. So I guess that answers the question. We can't like we can't tell like this is not a good technology or this is not or this is good technology, but I guess I answered the answer in a way like you can predict what is good and what is bad.
Yeah, that's true. That's true because hundreds of things are moving in your architectural
Yeah,
practices, and hundreds of things are getting evolved. Like nobody wants to just stick into one. Like it has to evolve. It has to evolve at the end of the day.
true, true.
So now, so security and service mesh, there is a lot because nobody had that entire visualization for a longer run until service mesh came up. But today, once it comes to the security aspect, there are some flaws which have been found, which have been corrected. But how is service mesh going to impact the security and the way which we are going to strategize security for our microservices? Because a lot of things are changing in the security practices as well.
So to answer this in a simple words, I would suggest like service mesh is a thing which do the security kind of a stuff on the platform layer only. It doesn't require the application level. So traffic and all stuff go on to the application level, but security happens only on the platform layer. So that's why I guess ambient mesh is launched in the Istio, which is the something which solves your security issue and it provides the security from default only. So you don't need to do it afterwards. Zero trust security is provided only at start. I guess I should have some slide for it. Let me show you to you like how that
Sure.
works. Uh, 1 minute. So to tell the ambient mesh, it is something which is just like proxy plus data plane, proxy per data plane. It doesn't have like one proxy attached to any different types of pods. It is just one proxy plus for entire node. So everything can be done like resources addition and everything can be done. It's like whatever you want to do on your services, you will do it directly through the one proxy per node. You don't have like one proxy per entire pods. So it is like it is reducing the cost and various issues and stuff. But we are talking about the this thing. So as you see, there is a in ambient mesh there is parallel between the two layers, which create, I mean, like it is slicing the layers, and it is providing you the L4 layers directly. Means like mutual TLS tunneling and all security kind of stuff is done just by your L4 thing. So this is the main issue. Like service meshes we use for the security kind of stuff. If you use this ambient mesh, you don't have to like restart your pods or something. You can directly attach the application. You don't need to add it at the start or the last. You can attach it anytime you want. Another thing it is like it provides the security by default only, so no require anything. Another thing it is like logging and everything is just by default. When you need any L7 policy or something, then you can attach it whenever you want. So that's why there is some kind of a waypoint proxy or something. You will come to know when you like go through the Istio open source product project. You have any doubts, you can ask me anytime. I'm there to solve. So this is the thing I wanted to show you, and it is really nice, like security and kind of a thing. It is just provided by default, and you don't have to do anything. So whenever you want to authorize any policies, so what is authorization policy? So we will show one demo on the same. So we will talk about it. No problem.
Yes, there is a lot of things changing in the market, right? There is a gap between the skill sets, as well as there is a gap between the existing tools as well as the new adoption tools, right? If it's easy, it's good. Like if it was just a path that we took from the hardship to the thing that we are just facing as an ease of using that tool, that's fine. But once they adopt a new technology, there is a new vision that is just being dropped onto you, it's very hard to just get the skill set for the service meshes. So what are the required service meshes skill set that is required for architecting a solutions in order to be more available and visualized? Because we are talking in terms of monitoring services, we are talking in terms of making sure that there is 100% availability that is given to us. So how much is the gap that has to be filled when they adopt service measures in terms of the knowledge and the skill set, and how is it going to impact the way we are going to monitor and visualize an entire system that we are just talking today?
So it is like most important thing you asked now. So whenever it is like service meshes you want for the production ready environment. So if one thing which is like most important for your production ready environment and you are doing it wrong, you can like destroy your entire server. So for that you need something which will be secured and kind of a thing. So for that you will first require means whenever I guide the person for the DevOps, I recommend them learn the networking fundamentals first. Afterwards anything you want to learn. So Linux and networking fundamentals I try to force them. So that's why I focus, right? Because in the future they will get stuck if they don't do now. So networking fundamentals is one of the thing you should have aware of. Another thing it is like you have to check like which service mesh is providing you the security nicely and how more integrations you can do, because whenever you want to monitor that service meshes, how much integrations are there. So I would suggest we don't require much of the integrations for the it's like visualization, but Kiali is one of the nice I have seen. Means whenever I use, so Kiali is something which is nicely shown dashboard for your service meshes. It provides the webs and kind of a thing, and it is open source, so it is the best. So there are various open source tools only for the uh, monitoring kind of purpose. But for the service mesh particularly, I recommend the Kiali. But if you have to do the Kubernetes kind of a thing and you want to monitor your applications, I would recommend like Prometheus and Grafana. There is also ELK, but I focus more on the Prometheus and Grafana because it is easily to set up through the Helm packages. Similarly, talking about the service mesh kind of thing, which one to choose and which one to not. There are a lot of in the our industry now. Everyone creating their own service meshes. So focus on the security and observability and reliability, like who provides in how manner and how it is solving your use case. So that is the most important thing. Otherwise, there is no issue, like no use. Like if some company is providing nice service mesh, but in future in your product you can't use, then what is the use? So depending on your use case, go with the same. So you can check the glue mesh also. It is one of the service mesh which provides everything you want. So go forward with the same. Yeah.
Yes, finally, let's come to the challenges after implementing service mesh. There's a lot of things that is just getting shabby in the architectural practices. Everybody wants to move to serverless, but the cost implication is always still there. The optimization implication is always there. And there's no visibility that is given to the serverless aspects today, right? It's something like, there's an API coming that it's getting hit 100 times by hundreds of people out there. That's a different story. So, what are the challenges in the service meshes today after the implementation? So, how is it going to impact and production uptime, SLAs and SLOs, or else something like how is it just going to change the way we are going to approach the problem statement today?
So there are it's like there are service meshes problems everywhere, but we will focus on the issue sidecar model challenges. So what are those? So as you see, like there is everywhere. Like if you are in this cloud native and DevOps world, what happens like if you do any deployments or something, then you will receive the complexity issue. So when you are doing the operations on the service meshes, operational complexity will be the one you will face a lot. Because why? Because you have to do the resources addition and kind of stuff. It will go through your envoy proxy. So there is envoy proxy sitting inside the your data plane. You have to do the sending everything to that sidecar, and then it will go to the application. So whenever you have to do the add-on or something, so it will like application to message things and packet transfer or something. It will go to the envoy process of the application one, then it will go to the application to envoy process, and then application two. So it is little complex. So sometimes application meshes also don't is like that much aware of what is going on. So that's why there is like if job one is inside the application one and there is a job 99 inside the application nine or job eight. So that is really issue, right? Another thing is like latency is something which is issue because application as I told, like it was the 1 to 1 and then there is a 2 millisecond. 2 millisecond for one application to two application, it doesn't seem that much big, but when it comes to the lot of applications, then you know like 1,000 applications. If goes for the 2 millisecond for one thing, it is like rising through that exponentially. So another ending, it is like it is increasing the cost. As you see, like for the a separate annual proxy, it is having the separate cost for you to add on the annual proxy. So that's what we call for the thing, but it is something solved by the recently launched H2 ambient mesh. It is solving everything because your annual proxy is directly reduced. So you can attach this, so you can directly attach. Previously, what happens? Everything goes to the HTTP proxy to monitor and things, but now it is just by service will go to the do and everything matrix and all. So you can use the BPPF also for the it's like troubleshooting and the kind of data. We will talk about the eBPF sometimes if which one are give me which give me time or something. But yeah. Think it is like, yeah, as I told, like you can do everything by just one proxy. uh, yeah, so as you see, like it has lot of CPUs required also and a lot of MIBs required also, so it is reducing the ambient. So these are the general issues seen in the various service meshes. Another syndicate, another thing are more in the other service meshes, but focusing on the stuff like common errors are like you have to install the sidecars for the same. Another thing it is like whenever you are providing the service security and kind of thing, you need to be aware of what goes on inside the your proxies, your ports, how to assign the ports, also how to create the various build. I called it building, but it is just a network. So in network, in building, there is the different flows. So in your network, there will be various nets. So that nets will provide the proxies and kind of thing. So yeah,
Yeah, I think that's the best part about service meshes. It's not complexity that we are dealing with, but at the end of the day, once you look at the visibility which it brings upon the table, I think there is a lot that we can just visualize, debug, or else something like we can reduce our downtimes to a greater extent. I think Rohit is one of those youngest folks that you can look in the world of DevOps and look back and say, you know what, if he is able to educate as many engineers as I can, and I too can, and I think probably start creating content as much as you can, like that's the best part about it. You still start learning, like you still know, okay, I'm still a student of this industry and I need to learn, and I'm putting it as a repository. That's it. Like, his blogs are good, his website is amazing, his videos are pretty awesome in terms of explaining what it is. I think reach out to him anytime. I think he's happy to help you folks. And thank you so much, Rohit, for such great insights. Means a lot. Like once you share with all these kind of, it was a short span of notice that we had, like 10 minutes,
yeah,
and we
yeah.
were ready here.
Yeah, I have seen the Vishwas work also. Like he's working nice in the DevOps and MLOps world. So move forward with it, and you are doing awesome work to create the podcast and stuff. So this is the thing people all need in the technical background. They can't go on the. It's like they can't see everything on the YouTube, and it's like they can watch, but they need something to start, right? So this is the start for you, and you can go with the various channel resources where you want. So I will share some resources to learn with the service meshes with Vishwas, and he can share with you. So I guess we can move with one small demo, like how the you can
Sure.
install the service meshes and how you can attach the policies of the L4 and L7 to the Istio sidecarless model. So you don't need to restart everything. So that is one of the previous issue, like you have to restart your application whenever you are attaching it. So it will be reduced directly. So we will talk about the same, and for the another thing like L7 and thing, I would just send you the workshop demo. You can try it out on your own. So we will just go with the L4 attaching the policies kind of thing.
Sure.
Let me share my screen.
Yes, we are
Oh,
able to see your screen. Okay.
yeah, it is shared.
No, no, it's not shared.
Oh, 1 minute. Yeah, is it visible?
Yes.
Array, I am canceling. I am like when I click on the hide, I am stopping sharing.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, sure, sure.
So this is just some like Instruct is the one of the company I recommend to everyone. Like it provides a virtual environment for you, so you don't need to that do the requirement or txt installation, create the environment and stuff. It will provide you, and you just have to have some commands in the set, and you can install it. So first of all, so see if you are having some cluster so to do that, I'm just exporting the cluster. So what happens? This cluster is something you can use to deploy your cluster to your platform. So I'm just using the kind cluster for this. Uh, so we are using this to install. This will take some time. So I thought I should do it from the start only. But thing it is like I want to be transparent, so you will see like how this process works on, and whenever there is error, we will talk about the same. So what it is doing here, see, it is pulling the Docker layers. Not Docker layers. I don't know it is Docker or something, but it is pulling something containers and from the registry. So then what it is happening here, it is loading some image which has the node of your version 1. Then it is preparing the nodes, it is writing our configuration. So writing configuration is something like creating the your files, for doing everything, like any statement you want to add, you want to do something inside your cluster, so it will do for you. So what happens sometime, if you do run this command at the start only, check.sh, it will show you some JSON error. So don't get depressed or don't get afraid of it. Just launch it, paste it again, and you will get this thing moving on. So CNI is something I would like to discuss more because we will talk about this more. Uh, Talking about the same control plane, we talk about control plane is everywhere. It is something, it is the leader of your group. There is storage class, which is something where you can initialize your volume claims and various things you can do. So storage class is something where you can store your metadata and stuff. It is joining some worker nodes. Yeah, it is deployed. So let's check. Yeah, it is waiting for all the kubectl pods, kubectl pods, and these kube system pods and becoming ready in context. No problem. We can move to the second step. So meanwhile, we will download our HTOCTL from the recent version of the HTOCTL. It is installing for us. Let's now extract it. Once we extract it, as we see, like there is HTOCTL, you can check the version also. No problem. So what we will do, we will set our profile to ambient because we will focus more on the ambient side. But if you want to use the Istio with the sidecar model, you don't miss you can do it directly without using the ambient also. But ambient also provides the sidecar now, so you can do whenever you want to use the sidecar, you can use it. Whenever you want to do the sidecarless version, you can do it. So we will talk about what is CNI and HTO core and HTOD here. HTOD is something your control plane or something. HTO, it provides the ingress gateway. Ingress gateway is something to public your website and port or something. So CNI is something which is the main kind of thing. So learn about the CNI more if you want to move into the Kubernetes world and networking world. Because the CNI is something which will do the traffic redirection for you. It will detect your application ports. It will do the communication between that proxy which I talked. Best thing. I am writing one blog on the CNI. It will be soon be published on the Solo, so you will see it soon. So as we see, there was like Z tunnel is installed, there is CNI nodes are installed, everything is installed just in this go. So we will deploy here the fake policies services. So what happens? It will install the web API recommendation purchase history. It is just a sample kind of a deployment. It is not some fancy application, but let's do it. This is just provided by default from here. In just please go to these files and you will get your in data. There is services are given. So not sleep is something just like call agent to call your application, and sleep is something no, means like it can call now, but we will do in some manner like that one can't call to your application and one can call. So that is the security we are talking about. So that is done by your certificates and policies, authorization policies we talk about. So authorization policy is something where we will initialize in such a way like not sleep will not call and sleep will able to call. So that we will talk afterwards. But for now we will check like our pods are running or not. So as you see, previously I showed you there was like that was like when you do the installation of something, it was saying as a like 2/2/2/2. Now it is just your one pod or something. So after that, if you want to access to your thing, you can do it directly. As you see, like hello from web API, it is you are enabled to call and all stuff. So we can expose this public just by using this command, and now it is like you can access it through the this website where it is. So you can access it through your Istio Ingress gateway. So when you do the call through the this istioexplain.io, This is just one type of like a host we are initializing. So it is enable to like enable I mean, sorry, it is now you can access directly through this HTTP web, and you can see that same hello from API and stuff directly. So it is something called as the inbound traffic for the mesh is controlled with your ingress gateway. So we have configured it like through the Istio gateway and virtual service resources. So this is just a simple demo where like we are able to access it through the ingress gateway directly. Don't have to do anything different or kind of. If you are already have done some Kubernetes cluster creation and kind of a thing, you know like how it is hard to initialize some code to access these things. So service meshes are really helping you to do it simply. So if you want to add the ambient plane to this, it's like so what happens when you want to do the ambient installation on this, you don't have to do anything different. You just have to create label your namespace with this default HT ambient one, which is provided by default only. So once it is done, ambient is done. So now you can use the ambient policy means like do everything to the ambient. So as you see, like here it will show somewhere, but I guess I will show you here only. So as you see, like IP set is there, and yeah, it is adding the route, and it is adding some routes, and you can watch the pods. So this is just something which is called as like it is just adding the pods which we created previously. It is directly adding. You don't have to do anything. You don't need to restart your applications and kind of a thing. It will just directly attach freely. Don't have to restart your applications. So now what we will do that demo which we talked about. So Sleep will be able to access the recommendation and web API, but not Sleep will not be able to. So and it will be like mutual TLS connection by default only, and control plane will be sitting outside and doing it. So here in control plane will be inside. Means like it will be not out, means like not inside, but proxy is connected to it. So previously it was like outside kind of a thing, but now proxy is connected directly. So it can check it has that secured lane now because no one can enter it directly. So as we see, like we have generated some traffic to just visualize, and when we do the traffic, we can see here like yeah, it is doing the inbound connections, it was doing the outbound, it is capturing the listener. So it is showing as no waypoint proxy. So you will see like no waypoint proxy is something that we talked about for the L7 layers. So so it directly knows like it is there or not just by just it's like checking the logs. We don't have to do anything. So we will explain this soon while we introduce some policies. But I would suggest like you try it from your side. This three and fourth part. I will share the workshop link, and you can go and try it out. So we will allow we will do some authorization policy. So what I am doing here, I am creating some deny all policy, which will do one thing, which will allow nothing. So you can't access to that website we were previously accessing to it. See here, it is not able to access it. Not able to access it. Now what we will do, we will authorize new policy, which is having principle, which I guess you kind of see it. So this principle is something, as you see, the sleep, and it is able to access that ingress gateway. So now we will do in this manner that it will be able to access. So see, so sleep will be able to access now. Yeah, but when you do for the not sleep, it is not able to access. So this is just one kind of a secured demo we do. We have done and doesn't require anything separate to add and kind of a thing. So it is nice demo, this nice workshop which show you entirely everything you want to know about the L4, L7 and kind of a thing, you can initialize your L7 observability and kind of a thing. So I would recommend go with it, inject some fault to the traffic shifting kind of a thing. Everything can be done in just one simple way. I would recommend following for the same. Yeah.
Sure, I think thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving that instruct as one of those key places to visit back and learn about the CNCF infrastructure. That's not there's nothing to do with Istio as well. So there's a lot that is just getting covered, and I think thanks for that demo. By the way, it just showed a lot, and I think you are sharing the screen again. So yes,
Yeah, if you want to check the resources, you want to learn this stuff, go on this website blogs written by my various colleagues and Google people. So you can check this thing. It is nice. And this was the workshop. You can visit it, like just go on the Solo Academy. You will see this workshop and you can try the other versions of it, which we talked about the same. So L4 we talked, the L7 you can check. All the best for the same. So I guess thank you for the same. Thank you from me
sure.
and
I
Solo
think
also.
thank you so much, Rohit, for sharing such great insights. And let's just end the show. Let's just enjoy the rest of the day which is left. But at the end of the day, don't forget the fact that you are still a student and just start
Hmm.
learning. And thank you so much for Rohit making time. It was on spot. Like we just had a call and we were like done. Like that's it. So I
Yeah.
think that's great. Thank you so much, Rohit. And we'll end the broadcast now. So bye, folks.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.